Danny, a small break given last week's COVID interruption. How are the players doing in terms of recovery?
Yeah, it's been tough because, like, obviously you get a couple of good performances like we did against Woking, and the vibe in the camp's good, and to have the interruption that we did is not ideal. It's been a little bit of a bittersweet because we've managed to have a couple of lads that probably would have struggled for the Barnet game that could potentially be available for Solihull on Tuesday, but the idea, you want to play full matches, and when you have a disruption, especially if you can't train, I think if the game was off but we could still be in, it's sort of the best of the worst case scenario, but to not be able to train either has been tough, and we've had to make sure the lads are doing their stuff at home, the ones that could, and they've come back in for the first time the back end of this week.
Especially when we've been on a good run of form against Woking as well. I'm sure the players will be chomping at the bit to get back out there and show what they can do.
Yeah, look, I think there's always been a positive vibe in the camp. I mean, even after some of the defeats, the confidence has always been high because we know what we're capable of doing. But I think what it's done is it's put a little bit of reality into the fact of, you know what, you're not invincible, and the lads that didn't catch the COVID and the staff members that caught COVID, like, thank God they were okay, and I think that's the reality, is the safety first, and it's made us think about how we're doing stuff to make sure that we're probably going a bit over the top, but I think it's better to be that way.
Especially the situation as well, with everything, the way the world's going at the minute, it's better to be more safe and secure rather than just take it loosely.
Yeah, but you just don't want to be that one, do you? Because there's always that person that people are talking about that, he or she's really active, they're doing all this stuff all week, and they've got it, and they're in intensive care, and I don't think there's any prejudice with this virus. If it gets you, it gets you, and I think from our perspective, like all of us as a club, as a support base, like everybody who's involved, we want to keep them as safe as we possibly can. We can't control everyone outside of the club, but we can control our environment, and it's crucial that we do that.
But it's been important as well to keep the training and everyone fit ahead of the game next Tuesday now rather than Saturday.
Yeah, look, thank God for Zoom. I think I've said it before, if anyone who had any foresight would have definitely bought some shares in Zoom, because without it we would have definitely struggled. We've done some gym sessions and had a few meetings on there with the lads just to keep them, sort of from a mental perspective, just keep them focused and up to speed with what's going on. But it's not the same. It's not the same as having them here and doing our own gym sessions with what we're doing and being on the pitch and training. But it is what it is. We have to get on with it. It's the same for Solihull. It's the same for every team that's had to go through it. And fortunately for us, we've managed to get to now without having to be affected by it. And we hope it's the last time.
And it's a sensible group here as well, so you know they're going to go away, make sure they are ready for the next game whenever that is.
Well, you know what, the onus is on them, and that's where the trust comes in, because if they don't, it'll show. Like, there's a couple of lads that have found it tough to get out because of where they live and do the stuff, and you can see it. You can see the difference with the levels of the training. Some of the boys have been bang on it since they've been off. Others have had the illness, they haven't been able to do anything. So there's a real kind of disparity between the group at the minute in the sense of levels of fitness, and it's up to us to make sure we manage that properly, but also bearing in mind we've got to keep the players safe.
A slightly different topic as well, we didn't really speak much about Joseph Hungbo going back to Watford, and he's gone away, come on against Man United, so we wish him all the best.
100%, absolutely buzzing for him, absolute wonderful kid, and he came in, his attitude was spot on. I felt for him a bit because the games and the fixtures that we played, it wasn't really, he was either coming on to try and impact the game. I mean, we brought him on against Chesterfield to impact the game, and then we go down to 10 men, so his role changes. He was brilliant when he first played against Altrincham away, and was a massive part of the victory there. And we would have been keen to do it again. We just needed to look at, like, we have to be honest with ourselves, and we have to be honest with the club that we're loaning the players from. And I think for someone like Joseph, he needs to be guaranteed to be playing every week, and we couldn't necessarily do that. And he's gone back into Watford, and he sent me a great message the other day, and he's definitely reaped the benefits of being in this environment. And yeah, we wish him all the very best, and I'm sure there'll be a lot more from him to come.
And that would have been a thing from us as well, as we would have felt we've taught him something during his time here that's seen him go on and play at Old Trafford.
Yeah, I think, to be honest with you, like, he was a very honest lad, and he came in my office towards the back end of his loan, and he said that he feels disappointed because he hasn't shown what he's capable of doing. And I think that's where he probably suffered a little bit with regards to consistent games, because there were times where he probably wasn't as effective as he wanted to be. But one of the things he has got is the bit between his teeth, and he said, I'm going to prove everyone that I can do it, because I know I can do it. And what a great attitude to have, and honest, and like, yeah, he will definitely kick on. And if we've played a tiny little piece in that puzzle for him, then like, yeah, well done to everyone involved.
And looking at another loan signing, Charles Phillips, his loan ended after the Woking game. What's the latest with him?
Yeah, well, Wycombe wanted him back in and around their squad. Listen, he's a professional at a championship club. I've been in that kind of environment where you're at the top sort of end, loaning players out. You want your players in the league if you can, and I would assume if they're not going to keep him, that's what they probably would want. He wants to play football, he likes being here, and if there's a chance to bring him back, we would probably look to do that. But that's not going to be an immediate thing. That's something we've got to look to. We've got, I think, 2 weeks left of the current window, but because he's a championship player, we can take him after that as well.
And like I said, with it being January in that transfer window sort of time, is there any plans from us to sort of see where we can move forward with the players here?
Yeah, well, look, I think we've got a lot of assessing to do with the current squad. Timelines with regards to play people like Kins, Craig Tanner, Ross McCormack. Jamie has obviously got to get himself back in the fold. Ricky Miller, we're hopeful that he'll be back sooner rather than later. We've got to assess that before we start looking at what we're going to bring in, because we've got a strong squad, and if they're all fit, that is. So we've got to look at those first and make sure that we get the timelines right, because again, I don't really want to bring a player in loan just to make the numbers up, because there's no point in doing that. It's not fair on the boy, it's not fair on the club we're taking him from, and it's not really fair on the lads we've got in the building. If we're going to bring someone in like we have done so far, we want someone to come in who's going to affect the team. So yeah, we'll be assessing that on a day-to-day basis.
And we spoke about obviously Kins and Craig with those longer term injuries. What's the latest with the likes of Ross, Jamie and Ricky? Yeah,
so obviously Ricky's was a cut, so if you're going to get injured, it's probably the best kind of injury to get, because you're just waiting for the body to do its thing and heal. So I mean, look, it won't be long. We're hoping he could potentially be in and around it for the Solihull game, but it's really important we don't rush him, because obviously it was a big wound, and the last thing you want to do is reopen it. Ross is making good progress and should hopefully be back on the pitch within the next sort of 2 to 3 weeks. And similar with Kins and Tanner with regards to their rehab. Obviously they're still a bit away from actually full contact training, but yeah, they're all getting there.
And Jamie as well has always picked up a slight knock, but he'll be back hopefully sooner rather than later.
Yeah, it's a frustrating time for Jay, because like he obviously had a little knock before he come out of the team. The team's doing well, so he's found it tough to get back in it. Got back in it, had an outstanding performance here against Woking the first time round, and you looked at him and thought, right, go on and kick on. And yeah, he's just had this little niggle. It was a bad tackle, to be fair. That did him at the end of the Woking game. To be honest, it was an unnecessary challenge. But listen, it is what it is, and we have to just manage that. He's not far away at all, and we just have to, again, you have to put the reins on him a little bit, because he wants to play every minute, and yeah, we just got to be realistic.
And looking at Solihull and their position, they're sort of in a similar position to us in terms of having that break off after an impressive win away at Chesterfield, or home rather. What are you expecting from them?
Look, I think that Solihull as a club have made no secret about the fact they want to get promoted, and I think they're probably, the resources they've put in place and the recruitment they've done would probably say the same thing. The thing with the trophies, you don't know what they're going to send down. Is it going to be a full strength team? Is it not? We've planned for them to come down as strong as they possibly can be. They're a good side, they like to play. Obviously Jimmy Shan's got a great background in the game, and they've recruited well. So no, listen, it's going to be a tough game, and I think from our perspective we've just got to make sure that we're as on it as we possibly can be. And the one consolation, I suppose, if any, is that they have been in the same situation as us. If they'd have been playing games regular, I think it might have put the odds in their favour, but it's a cup game at the end of the day, so toss of a coin.
That was my final question. You know, with it being a trophy game, it's a winner takes all, sort of one game off sort of thing.
Yeah, look, who doesn't want to play at Wembley? I think is the question to all the players in the dressing room. Who doesn't want to play? We'll give it everything we've got, and at the end of the day, like we've seen with cup competitions historically, and even this season, it doesn't always mean that you're going to come out on top. But the bottom line is we'll be playing to win it, and we'll put as strong a team out as we possibly can.
Are you in with a shot? More information in the description below.
Click here for the next video, click here to subscribe.